Do-do-do. Yo, check these up top murderers. Snowy in the bezel is the cloud mergers. FBI try one word with this kid who pooped out. Watch me shot up in the beacon. Catch me in the corner not speaking. Crushed out heavenly. Your G, what you said, Daddy Long fought me. Chicken and broccoli, why he look stinky with his man straight from Raleigh Dorm. He recognized Kojak. I slapped him five, master killer, cracked his honey for him. Everybody break bread, huddle around, guzzle that. I'm about to throw hay in your back. Since the face been revealed, game got real. Radio been gassing niggas, my imposters screaming ill. I'm the inventor. 86 ramen at the center debut. 93 Peter told you to enter punk. Still in my light, crawl beneath the bed with I'm fucking it up. I used to be able to spit that way better, way better. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna go back into the booth and and I'm gonna practice, even though I think this is the booth. Regardless, welcome everybody to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the place where we do set oppression ablaze. I'm so appreciative and grateful that you all have made some time to come hang out with your homie on this Good Friday Eve. As we are headed into the Labor Day weekend, I hope everybody's having a safe time wherever you may be in the United States. And trust me, safety is really becoming a luxury here in the US, even beyond the pressures that poverty and capitalism put upon people to so-called commit crime. Now the up has been annied, as it were. So do what you can to look out for your folks. And we're going to get into some of that actually. The ways in which folks have been resisting, at least not all the ways, just some of the ways. I like to get some glimpses at the things that truly regular ass people are doing out here. And on top of that, we can't ever take our foot off of the neck of the police and point out when cops ain't shit, how cops ain't shit, and which cops ain't shit. In addition to, we will be checking in what's going on in Gaza, because the parallels, the connections, the shared strategies between all the settler colonies, I suppose, but directly between Israel and the Palestinians. And of course, what is happening here stateside to Black folks, which has been happening, and to Latinos, which has been happening, and to Indigenous, which has been happening. But it feels like we have entered a different part of the book. we are in the next act. The next chapter has begun, and it looks like something that we need to definitely try to fight and combat and resist at a minimum. So here's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to come on in here. I want y'all to like the video. I want y'all to subscribe to my channel. Please listen to my demo. It will be greatly appreciated. Hey, can we shout out to the folk down? Everybody. That's in here checking in. That's in here checking in. That's in here checking in. What's going on to everybody on Twitch? Of course, Deidre the Destroyer, a.k.a. Northern Witch, a.k.a. that bitch. a.k.a. that bitch. You tell him when you go to the farmer's market tomorrow, Dee, I am that bitch. Kim said so. You have my permission. Shout out to Northern Witch. Northern Witch is one of our day one or OGs. Big up to the whole fam, Northern Witch. I'm so happy you be here with us. Shout out to other good niece on Twitch, our good sis Rosalba. Who else we got up in here tonight? Shout out to Swari Faris. What's going on, Wendy? Peace to Latif. Peace to Sugar Shan. Make it rain, Sugar Shan. Who else? Don't Alona, Damien. I'm still considering your marriage proposal. Damien did not offer me his hand in marriage. I'm saying the UK ain't looking much better. Damien, did they not just lock up a white man for wearing a t-shirt in the fucking UK? Jesus. We got dueling fascisms going on right now. The UK, who's doing fascism the best? You know, of course, the US is doing it the best. Number one. We're always number one when it comes to shit like that. Who else we got up in here? Hey, what's going on, Dre, with without? Who else we got? You said, oh, my niece Alicia. Hey, what's going on, Alicia? I appreciate y'all coming on in here, checking in. Peace to the good sis Court. She might be in the back taking up the slack, letting us know where it's at. So appreciate it, y'all. So hold on, let me get into my document here because I can't be remembering shit. That's why I gotta write the shit down. But what I do remember is that I love y'all. I do remember that I never ever forget. So let us get into it right now because I know I keep showing y'all videos of what's going on in DC. I didn't want to rinse y'all too much on DC videos, even though I could very easily, because there are plenty of videos to be found, recorded, and subsequently removed. Like they are taking that, they meaning TikTok in particular. I don't be on Instagram. I don't know what the fuck Instagram moderation looking like, but that TikTok moderation is looking mighty suppressive, and videos that I end up liking and bookmarking within a relative short amount of time, them joints go missing. That's why I started downloading these bitches. I said, nope. I said, y'all not gonna erase the whole record. Somebody's gonna keep a tab, run a tab of what's going on here. But I believe this video that we're about to see comes out of Los Angeles because, as you guys know, the ICE raids have been happening. Actually, that's a lie. No, that's not a lie. The ICE raids have been happening going on damn near 90 days in Los Angeles, right? Where the Marines were called out and the National Guard was deployed and LAPD and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department were called in to provide security for ICE and Homeland Security, doing illegal ICE raids. I can't even call them raids because they're outright kidnappings. We follow the coverage that has been provided by LA Taco, peace to the LA Taco, and all the independent media out there that has been definitely keeping close tabs on the ICE kidnappings. And one hotspot, one flashpoint has been well, I want us to look around, actually. Let's look around in and around LA because one of the things they're doing several things. So they're the community, that is, community organizations, Black and brown organizations alike, are doing community response teams in which they are keeping lookouts for ICE, and then they are driving around with megaphones and spreading the word via social media and doing creative ways to inform community members, residents, neighbors that ICE is in the vicinity. So I want us to take a look at one of what that looks like, because Los Angeles has been at this for almost 3 months. DC has been under this federal occupation for almost 2 weeks now. And with the president guaranteeing that this type of shit is happening in LA and DC, coming to cities near you, like Philadelphia, like Portland, Oregon, like Seattle, like Chicago, they already getting ready in Chicago for ICE invasion there. New York City, who else is on the list? Oakland, California, who else is on the list? No, Trump is just gonna he's gonna attempt to run the table. But we can foil them. You know why? Because there's more of us and we're faster than they are. We're a bit more nimble. See, that is, I suppose, the advantage of a smaller, even though I know we're not organized. He said, as the comrades remind us, no, we are not all organized. However, there are some organized actions that are out here taking place. So let's look at what one of those actions look like when community members use their resources, their gas, their transportation, their time, their voice, and their willingness to risk themselves to make other community members who are more vulnerable aware that the predators are on the prowl. Let's take a look.
Immigration Customs Enforcement is in this gray car. Immigration Customs Enforcement is in this gray car. If you are an immigrant, stay home. Immigration Customs Enforcement is in this gray car. Here's the wimp. You could see ICE right there. You could see his face. Let's make him famous. I wonder if he has a family. Because everyone else does. He doesn't seem to care about that. get his license plate. It is a Ford. It's a damn shame. Damn shame. Oh no, I'll get it. Yeah, I can move. Yeah, thank you though. Appreciate it. Alright, so let's take a look at his license plate. Here it is. LDV 1443. Everyone to know. It's a gray Ford. I just need one person to check in there just in case somebody's in there.
I can get God and do that.
Yep. Can somebody just check the apartments just in case?
You want me to do it or can
I think she'll do it. Yeah, maybe you could. Just check the apartment complex if there's any other car, because it could be a tactic. I just want to make sure there's no other ICE cars. Can we just check inside?
Yeah,
there was
that looked like ice that left the complex.
Oh, okay.
I saw that.
But nothing else right now?
Nothing that I couldn't see anything in there.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, we have to.
I
But
have a bullhorn. Anybody want to
yes,
use that?
yeah, you can bring that out. And let's get.
Do you want us to talk in there, or do you want me to go with her, or do you want me to give it to Jenny to announce?
That's a good question. Do you want to stay here, or do you speak Spanish? Oh, okay. Okay, I can do it. Just if you can get it. Where's the book? Okay, I can start from here. But I don't want to leave this guy alone.
I can stand.
Okay.
And that's kind of what is going on, you guys. It is just regular, everyday people using what time and energy and availability that they have to do. I'm not trying to shit on the people's operation. I was going to call it ragtag, but I'm not trying to diminish what they're doing at all, because it is extremely important and critical. And in my guess, that kind of community action is probably literally has saved lots of folks, I would imagine, from getting kidnapped off the streets. But this is what it's looking like right now. You know what I'm saying? Very low techy in a way, but even though I found the video on TikTok, but you understand, like, it's just mouth to mouth. People are saying, I'm seeing these vehicles, I'm seeing these people dressed in a particular way, either with tactical gear or masks or the like, and they're following these vehicles. Good. In Los Angeles, like I told you guys before, I'm sure you've seen videos all over social media of tow trucks that have been following these convoys of rental vehicles, personal vehicles from either ICE or Homeland Security agents. The tow trucks have been trailing these convoys, and when the agents hop out of the vehicles to rather kidnap brown folks off the streets, the tow trucks are linking them up. You know what the tow truck man say? Well, I already got it hooked up. I can't put you down. I already got you hooked up. Yeah, because these so-called ICE agents are letting their vehicles idle in the middle of the street, and that's against the law. You're not supposed to do that. Hence, they get towed legally. So anyway, the next clip I want to see here. And again, I want to shout out to orgs that I'm seeing literally from not just organizations, but journalists as well. I saw a brother reporting last week from Chicago, warning undocumented people to stay away from the check cashing places in and around the Chicagoland area. Why? Because ICE and Homeland Security were staking out these check cashing places because they know that's where day laborers, people who may or may not have bank accounts, who may or may not have legal documentation or status, they go there to cash their checks. And these fucking punk motherfuckers, these ICE agents, these Homeland Security bitches, were standing around waiting for people to cash their checks at the end of the work week. And I appreciate the journalists and the independent media that were trying to spread that word around, because they're getting slick with this shit, y'all. They are going to be showing up. And I'm starting to see this already. Remember the video I played Wednesday when we did the show Wednesday of the radical Becky, the Karen for Righteousness, who was trailing ICE agents in DC's downtown area, Mount Pleasant neighborhood. And she was righteously calling them CUNTs and the like. I actually found I don't have the video to play, but there was a first part of that video where these same people that she was eventually end up following down the street, where she first encountered them was inside like a Z Burger or some little smallish eating place where they looked out of place. They didn't look like they belonged there. She walked right up on them with all her white woman entitlement. I said, you better go. Radical Becky. That's the fuck I'm talking about. You better Karen for righteousness out here. Hey, do you guys belong here? I said, oh, that is who you need to be approaching with that energy. Do you belong here? Them niggas. Yes. But the point being, these agents, these federal agents, these immigration fucking forces are going to be appearing in Walmart. They're just going to be walking around the grocery store. They're going to be waiting at the pharmacies for people to come pick up your prescription. Like, these motherfuckers are about to get more crafty and creative in the wheres and the hows in which they are kidnapping people. If you thought it was already deplorable and reprehensible for them to snatch day laborers out of Home Depot parking lots, for them to snatch the fruit vendors and the taqueros, you know what I'm saying? If you thought that shit, like, what the fuck, you snatching people who are working at the car wash? It's a wholesale attack on working class folks, y'all. Please believe it. But anyway, hold on. Our folks getting creative out here. Our folks are getting a little bit creative out here. So let's stick to LA. So in downtown Los Angeles, one of those flashpoints has been the federal courthouse building. Is it the federal detention building on Alameda and something in downtown LA, where the festival music goers, as they have creatively had to name themselves because social media has been suppressing when they say the actual word protest. Wild times. So these people have been having 24-hour actions, as it were, down at the federal facility in Los Angeles. Okay. So much so that the ICE agents and the Homeland Security punk motherfuckers, they actually put up fencing because the protesters were doing such a good job documenting how many people, as many of the reporters, not actual media reporters, but the people who have been documenting these ICE actions in downtown Los Angeles, they've been correctly referring to it as human trafficking. They were like, they were documenting the human trafficking because, y'all, it is small children coming in and out of these facilities. It is elders coming in and out of these facilities. It is obviously regular adults coming out of these. Like, it's everybody that you can think of, and there's no other word that best describes it than human trafficking, because people are being denied their human rights and their so-called constitutional rights, which undocumented people absolutely are entitled to, allegedly, in this country. But we see all those so-called rights are temporary and revocable. I digress. So down at this federal facility in downtown Los Angeles, the feds themselves erected this fencing, so their activities could not be well documented. Well, in response to that, but this fencing was also the way that they were using to enter and exit with their vehicles to this federal building in downtown Los Angeles. Well, somebody got creative. Somebody got creative, and then somehow, magically, the feds could not access they couldn't get out. Let's put it that way. Will, let's run the video, please.
It's around 9 o'clock and DHS just closed the gates on us. So I don't know who, but somebody put locks on the gates. Not only one gate, but 2 gates. All 3 of them. Oh wait, and the trifecta. We have a 3rd gate! Kill yourself. Oh no. The government dogs are locked up. Oh. That's what you get for locking the gates on us. Oh no. Oh. What are you guys gonna do? I don't know, but we'll be here to record it. Fucking
No!
What happens if there's a fire, guys?
There's
What are you guys
stars!
gonna do
There's
if there's a fire?
guys gonna do it for the fires? You guys just fucked up. You guys just fucked up.
Oh, you trying to act all
They
hard?
suck, oh my God.
Listen, I know some of these things, perhaps on their face, seem. I was gonna say juvenile, but no, I don't think it's juvenile. I actually wish juveniles would do more shit like this, to be honest. You know, shout out to Palestine Action over there in the UK, who did the deed of painting Royal Air Force jets red with to symbolize the blood of Palestinians and in the UK's complicity in the genocide happening in Israel. It's an act of vandalism, not an act of terrorism. And that, what we just saw in Los Angeles, I don't know if it was vandalism. I don't know if it was brilliance. I'm not exactly sure where it falls under the alleged criminal code. I say it was a deed well done, and I credit to them. Even if you can stymie, temporarily hinder, inconvenience outright. You know what I mean? Like these evil deeds must be stopped and or slowed down, but they cannot continue unimpeded. They cannot continue unchallenged. And if it does take something like spending $40 at the goddamn Ace Hardware to get you some sturdy chain and a couple of padlocks in order to keep the federal pigs behind their own deserved cages, then I appreciate those that do things like that, and I support that shit. and right on to all that took place and did some things. Now, the good old accepted method of dissent in the United States is to write your congressperson. is to go vote. You don't like it? Go vote. Okay. We'll try. if the National Guard isn't guarding the ballot boxes in 2026, we'll give voting a shot. But in the interim, I'm appreciating the energy that I continue to see coming from so-called red states against their so-called red elected officials. I saw a video coming out of Maine where Senator Susan Collins was getting lambasted by a bunch of angry Mainers. I said, you better not piss off the patchouli whites. You know they get rowdy. They are drinking that homemade mead and they are down for the rowdy. You better leave the patchouli whites alone. But anyway, so Susan Collins was getting the business, but there was a clip that I saw, and it's kind of short, but I gotta say, I was not expecting to see this coming out of Daphne, Alabama. Representative Barry Moore. It's giving cracker. I don't know. When I saw him in the clip, I said, he's giving cracker. However, the people yelling at him, maybe not giving cracker. And as so-called, and I hate to default to and normalize white heterosexual people, Christian people as normal Americans, right? Like I don't want to reinforce that, even though to some extent it's kind of true, but not when you look at the broad swath of what and who comprises America. It's not, but the way that America thinks of itself. Yes. These folks would be quote unquote normal Americans, regular Americans, hardworking, rural folks. And they were at a town hall approaching Representative Moore, whom you can imagine has gone along completely with the MAGA agenda and everything that Donald Trump wants to do. But he was confronted by his constituents in Daphne, Alabama. And I'm thinking, when you get the whites of Daphne, Alabama to come out and yell at you, and they're probably Republicans, even if they may or may not agree with in full the agenda of Donald Trump, because these folks seem like as though they did not, but they may have been likely conservatives. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Let me go ahead and run the clip, and you guys let me know what you think in the chat. So let me just, where we're about to enter this clip is Representative Moore is being asked about the immigration raids, the ICE raids, and we can pick it up from there. He says we're going to clean it up, whatever the fuck that means. So let's run that, Will.
So there are those cases now where they're trying to clean up, and I think we're going to have to look
Clean up? What? Clean up? We want them here. We don't want you here. We want them here. Why are people not getting due process? Why are immigrants not getting due process?
So due process for a citizen and a non-citizen are different.
False. False. Lies. The 5th and 14th Amendments allow for it. The Supreme Court has backed it many times. Shame. Shame. Bye, Felicia.
Representative Moore said, "Fuck you guys, I'm going home." In Cartman voice. He did. And, you know, I got to say, I don't know whether or not to laugh or cry at the white man telling the other white man, "Bye, Felicia." Y'all, you know, I understand that we're going to have to coalition build across lots of different cultural lines. And I'm not saying I would not reach out to this white man who tell the other white man, "Bye, Felicia," but it is one of the things that grind my gears. I do not like to hear the whites using Negro verbiage. Where did you learn "Bye, Felicia," Mr. White Man? Anyway, I laughed and cried on the inside when "Bye, Felicia" was used in a white on white instance. But yeah, these Republican lawmakers do not want to hear the smoke even from their own constituents. And it's really those kinds of people that we need to be out in the world resisting ICE raids and immigration raids. That's all well and good that you want to show up and yell at your congressman and your senator deserve to be yelled at. You should absolutely do that. But it's time to take it a step further. Christian whites with a conscience, ethical whites, if the denial of due process to undocumented people, if that really bothers you enough to the point that you would show up and yell at your congressman, I need you to show up to where the ICE raids are. I need you to plug in to the immigrant communities, because I imagine that these white folks from Daphne, Alabama, perhaps even beyond their conscience, maybe they have some other tie to the immigrant communities, or these mass deportations are impacting them in different ways, right? I assume that's a lot of farmland down there in rural Daphne, Alabama. Perhaps there's some meat processing plants in the area. Perhaps there's some car building plants in the area. Jobs and our immigrant neighbors, our immigrant community, they are inextricably tied to all parts, every single facet of the U.S. economy. Immigrants keep that engine moving. And trust me, if where you live, if you haven't already begin to feel and or see the impact economically, socially, that these mass deportations are having on the country, across the country, you will very soon see it, right? Either in the form of your grocery bill, or as is what's happening in DC. Community members are encouraging all of us and locally in the area, don't use rideshare, don't use food delivery services. Why? Because the feds are literally pulling delivery drivers, rideshare drivers out of their running vehicles and kidnapping them off the streets for dubious reasons, right? Don't order Uber. Don't order Lyft. Don't order Uber Eats. Don't order DoorDash if you live in the DC area, because law enforcement are targeting these drivers, and Uber and the like don't have shit to say about it, which, you know, fuck them. Shit is crazy, y'all. I hope it's not feeling crazy where you are. It is feeling very dystopian here in DC. I don't have any DC videos to play for y'all today, but I did want to say this. People are coming out from 7:30 in the morning to 2 o'clock in the morning in the streets of Washington, D.C., barking at these ICE agents, doing what they can to thwart would-be apprehensions and kidnappings. The young people, young Black kids in D.C., also there are allegations that they are being disappeared off the streets for unknown reasons. The only interesting form of resistance that I am not the only, let me not say the only, but in when it comes to the criminal justice system, right? Law enforcement, the courts, prosecutors. The interesting form of resistance that we're seeing, and maybe you've heard about this, is that the federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. is not returning indictments on charges against folks that these Homeland Security and ICE thugs are doing to people in the streets of DC. I mentioned Sean Dunn, the sandwich, the Subway sandwich assassin, how the federal grand jury refused to return an indictment, and basically the judge refused to hold Sean Dunn and said that this was weak sauce. That's not a direct quote from the judge, but they did use the word weak when admonishing federal prosecutors that tried to bring a weak ass fucking case about what? A sandwich? Nigga, was there bodily harm? No. Get the fuck out my face, said the judge. I'm paraphrasing. But federal, well, I don't know about federal grand juries because I actually had this question. I don't know if we have any legal eagles in the chat. But when it comes to a federal grand jury, for example, I know in the state of Maryland, the federal the grand jury, the federal courthouse is in Baltimore. If you are called as a potential juror in a federal case that's being held at the Baltimore courthouse, they can literally call you from all over the state of Maryland. Like, and the state of Maryland, small as it appears on paper, on a map, Baltimore can be a 3.5-4 hour ride, depending on where in the state that you are coming from, right? So I'm wondering, in the DC federal jury system, is it only Washington residents? I guess that would make sense, I guess, but DC is not a state, so I don't know exactly. But regardless, I would assume that a federal grand jury is made up of mostly Washington residents. And this grand jury is saying, nah, Joe, nah, we not running back no charges. And most of these attempted charges being brought by federal prosecutors against people has to do with physical assault on federal officers. And this federal grand jury in DC is saying, nope, we will not indict. We're not going to bring these charges. Tough shit. That's about the main piece of resistance I can see coming from the system. And of course, we don't expect the system to resist itself. But maybe when you have people that are appalled and disgusted by what they're seeing happening in their town, in their neighborhoods, yeah, even if they are themselves, if they play even a small role in the system, they are doing what they can to resist. So I appreciate them doing that. Let me take a quick little break, a tiny little pause for the cause. I'd like to welcome you guys. Thank you all so much. I'm going to get into one of my usual favorite lanes of things to talk about. But Will, did I see I would say doth my eyes deceive me, but my eyes deceive me almost every day. So I mean that would be a silly question even for me to ask rhetorically. Doth my eyes deceive? Yes, the motherfuckers deceive me every day. Did I see any boxes roll up, Will?
No arguments here. Yes. Special shout out to Infinite Content and all our people who are in the chat. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all coming through. Infinite Content said, Kim, this is not just ICE raids. It's the farmers. It's the Medicaid cuts, layoffs, all of it. He's only been back in office for 7 months. Shaking my head. I was thinking it's literally the same thing. Infinite Content, especially the whole Dr. Timeline thing, given that I was like, does he know something? Is he trying to do a lot of this shit before he get up out of here? But
put everything in place, I guess. Set it up for JD to run the ship. JD and Peter Thiel.
Nah, they be running up in there. As soon as JD get his ass up in there, they be like, nah, this motherfucker ain't doing it. But we got 207 people in the chat too. So y'all hit that like though. We don't have those. It don't match the like, so hit that like and subscribe too.
because I think some folks come over and hate watch, which is weird.
Yep.
And it's weird because I've got a couple comments on some videos lately where people have said disparaging things about my looks, and I'm like, sweetheart, come on. I mean, yes, but no. Let's let us be serious. So, somebody called me the Nazi fascist. Ooh, I'm the racist. Who am I racist against? Where are my white friends at? Tell white friends I need y'all to. I founded the KKK personally. Oh, so this is an obvious troll where they talk about not a single US citizen has been deported. Again, I don't know where you get your news from. This is well sourced, well documented. But again, you see, I gave up trying to argue with conservative trolls well over a decade ago, baby. I used to do that shit for fun on Twitter, sometimes even in real life. Go look at the playlist on my channel, Kim versus CPAC 2013. I'm not new to this shit, okay? But I opt to spend my energy in a different direction, baby, because you cannot save the unsavable. You cannot impart wisdom or, at a bare minimum, common sense on motherfuckers who don't have the actual comprehensive capacity. They lack comprehension. They can't fucking hear, like, their listening comprehension in the gutter, reading comprehension non-existent, writing comprehension. What you mean write letters with a pen? Come on. This is the kind of people that come in here and say such things. I'm the founder of the KKK. No US citizens have been deported. I can't live in that alternate universe, and I can't convince you to come out of that horrible cacophony of ignorance. Like, that's where you choose to be, and there I will let you remain. I can't save you. But I imagine you come in here because in part, you know, I speak the truth, and in a portion of that primitive reptilian brain knows the truth when they hear it. That's the only reason I imagine that you're here. Because you know what the fuck? I don't have no reason to lie to you, cracker. Please, and please, I would never lie to my own people. I would never come in here and lie to my folks. I would never come in here and knowingly spew false things. Be fucking for real. So anyway,
can we get one more shout out real quick?
Go on.
Two F's. Dystopia is the new now. Why won't let me say, YouTube won't let me say the rest about capitalism. We're still going to win. Shout out to Two F's. Definitely fighting for
Francis.
Thank you for your super chat and your support.
A warrior for Jah is 2 F's. Okay. Franny is out here doing Allah's work. And that's what the fuck I'm talking about. This is Franny is the kind of whites that we need. Franny is the whites. Well, you're not the white, but you are one of the many that we need. We need way more. Really, we need 10 million more Frannies, 25 million more Frannies. Okay. We could use maybe about 20 more Silbergs. because everybody can't get off the puns like Big Pun. You understand? But you know, seriously, and these wayward trolls, these racist motherfuckers that come in here. And in some ways, I kind of feel bad for them because I know you ain't got no fucking money, troll. Who do you think they want out there picking produce after they mass deport everybody? They want your basement dwelling ass. And your mother is going to show ICE where you are because they want to drag your dumb ass out the fucking basement, off the goddamn game, and get your motherfucking ass out there and pick some fucking produce because they done deported the entire group of folks that was doing that work willingly. But that's okay. You're going to be a coalition of the unwilling. Yo ass. Don't think just because you white, you protected. You protected for now. You get the most time to prepare. Okay. Let me move along here, y'all. One of our favorite and least favorite highways and roads to go down is cops ain't shit. But unfortunately, cops ain't shit is a very sad reality that we here in the United States live with on a daily basis. And depending on where you are, who you are, what you look like, the tax bracket of your particular neighborhood and or zip code largely depends on the type of respect, courtesy, and treatment that you receive from the police. So we're going to go to Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. This is a DMV centered show. We love DC. We are Maryland. Okay. We are Maryland, and we love Baltimore. Baltimore is Maryland's biggest city. Baltimore is a city that has suffered with historic underdevelopment economically, but overdevelopment within the police state. Okay. And the police cause so much routine harassment, cruelty, brutality to the residents of Baltimore City. The Baltimore Police Department came under federal consent decree in 2015 after the murder of Freddie Gray and then the subsequent Baltimore uprisings. And during the course of the FBI and the Department of Justice doing their investigation into the Baltimore Police Department, the Baltimore Police Department were so flagrant in their violation of citizens and city residents' constitutional and civil rights. They did all kinds of illegal shit right there in front of the FBI investigators because they didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. Okay. And we don't need to ask ourselves, well, how come they don't have respect for the police? If they had respect for the police, then the police wouldn't bother them. Oh, is that what you think in La La Land? Is that what you think in your dystopian hellscape? That the reason why Black communities are treated poorly by police is because Black folks lack respect? It's the police that lack respect. It is the police that think that they are indeed slave catchers and or overseers. That is exactly how the majority of them treat the communities. And let me be clear here. I am aware that not all cops ain't shit, but the cops that are upstanding, I suppose, or who have some sort of moral or ethical compass, those are the cops that are in the minority. Okay. I was talking with a friend earlier. The so-called good cops are the few. And when they speak up, when they try to raise attention and raise awareness to where there are abusive police, when there are abusive cops doing negative things to people in the community, it is the so-called good cops that get targeted for to be ostracized, to be isolated, to be referred to as rats, to not be one of the boys, to not be an active gang member, depending on the department, even though I would imagine most law enforcement departments do have different gangs, active gangs. If you don't believe me, go read the work of the brilliant journalist Cerise Castle. I digress. So Baltimore City Police has been mistreating horribly the Black community for many generations, in particular, everybody. I was gonna say the Black youths, but no, they don't just relegate their abuse to the youth. In fact, they murdered elderly 70-year-old woman earlier this summer. So no, Baltimore police spreads it all around the community, except seemingly to the white community. But anyway, so here's a couple of videos, and Will, if you could please just run them back to back, where you're going to see the scene or the clip open up with a bicycle underneath a Baltimore police patrol car. How did the bike get under the patrol car, you ask? Well, according to witnesses, the police struck a man off of his bicycle, running over his bike, and then having the audacity to detain him. So anyway, let's take a look at this clip. But I wanted to show you these clips, rather. I wanted to show you guys this because this is what people in Baltimore experience all the time. This is what people in cities with non-white populations, maybe even non-white, I'm sure poor whites get treated bad in places where it is they that are the majority. They still probably get treated bad by the police, but it's because they poor and they ain't no Black folks around. But when there's Black folks around, the police are going to find a way to injure, maim, harass, and based off what? Something violent? Nope, not even close. So let's take a look at these two clips, y'all. This is Baltimore.
Call the ambulance.
You're sitting up.
Call the ambulance.
What they trying to say going, y'all?
Huh?
What they trying to say going?
Nothing. Ain't none of that shit.
Yo,
Fuck
don't
no.
You carry no motherfucking blood and shit. How can you chase a motherfucker into an alley or whatever you find in the alley?
Hey, bro. Did they answer y'all?
I'm calling it now, bro.
Oh man, oh damn. Oh man, niggas over. Look at this shit. Man, tell her, man, you wanna file a complaint, man. Shoot they dumb ass, broke your bike back up, cuz. What's your name, cuz? My name Jay, yo, James, yo. That's some fuck nigga shit. Hit me the truck and ran my fucking bike over. They done ran this boy over with the car. Talking about he had dope on him. That man ain't had shit, man. They done fucked that boy up. Down in Baltimore, Maryland, man. Baltimore, man. It's crazy. Look, yeah, the bike under the car. This man, the bike all fucked up.
Why they do
that? Ask them if they gonna buy niggas a new bike.
Sir, you're not gonna.
I'm going this way. What is she talking about? Go ahead, boy, you dumbass. Bitch ass nigga.
Bro, he hit him and ran him over, bro.
Keep trying to grab on a nigga and shit, man.
Up on it. Yeah, you see his shit.
Your bike under the car.
Yo bike under the car. Yes, the man's bike under the Baltimore Police Department car. I have no idea. I don't have context beyond what was presented in those clips. And trust me, y'all, the folks on the street, the folks right there, the witnesses, they usually get it right? So when my man says they tried to run him over because they said he had dope on him, man didn't have no dope on him. Let's assume for a second he did have dope on him. Is that a good reason to strike a person on a bicycle with a moving vehicle? Doesn't that sound a little bit like excessive force? Possession of dope is not a violent offense. They didn't say they thought he had a gun because God forbid he had a gun. He'd have been laid out in chalk if he had a gun. They didn't say that he came from a robbery or sex assault. No, man, they said he had dope on him. So that was reason enough for the Baltimore police to use their V8 vehicles to try to basically attempt to murder this man. I don't know what else you call striking someone with a moving vehicle who is on a bicycle. That is at minimum aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, attempted murder. It would be nice if the Baltimore City State's attorney would take seriously such instances of overt police brutality, because nothing justifies striking a resident with a fucking car. And I didn't see aid being rendered to the individual. In one of the clips, I'm sure you guys were able to see that he was handcuffed. He was in custody, surrounded by police. His injuries not known at this time. If I get more information or find out more about this incident, I'll be happy to bring it to you. But the problem is, incidents like this are common. They're not infrequent. In some neighborhoods, it's kind of the norm, right? And why is that so? Why is that the case? Why is it that police are allowed to engage with our communities in this way and then have the audacity to get indignant and huffy when they talk about, though, the community doesn't respect us for shit like this? Fuck you mean? Like, this shit, it's not a mystery. Like, y'all motherfuckers shouldn't be wondering in confusion. How come people don't like us? Because y'all do shit like this. Because you justify using violence in situations that definitely don't require it nor call for it. And you do it in plain sight of everyone that can see you. So everyone out there on that corner, it may not have been them today. It might be their son tomorrow, their neighbor tomorrow, their grandchild tomorrow, their nephew tomorrow. Like, everybody out there knows that they are susceptible to police violence from Baltimore City's finest at any given place in time, regardless of if they in the wrong or if they in the fucking right. The police don't worry about such shit in the moment. They'll try to figure that shit out later as they're concocting their story of how to cover their ass so they don't get in trouble. Which they won't be getting in fucking trouble anyway, because, absent of killing somebody and not even to the point of killing somebody, police seldom get in trouble, right? Y'all, that story I've been covering from Chicago about the murder of Chicago police officer Crystal Rivera. Her partner who shot her, that nigga ain't in jail yet. He out here beating other people. Crazy shit. Please don't get in trouble out here. But I wanted to say this though. I'm seeing what I would call disturbing and concerning, though not necessarily new or surprising, clips of encounters of Baltimore police and particularly black men, young black men on the streets of Baltimore, where these cops are increasingly hostile and aggressive and unrepentant in their willful and overt violation of these young men's rights to be able to simply walk down the street and exist being black, right? Like literally being black in public and being Latino in public these days is reaching red summer levels of dangerousness, right? Like Jesus Christ, anyone can get it, even fans in the stands. I have another cops ain't shit story for y'all. And this one, where are we going with this one? Do me a favor, you guys, please like the video, subscribe to my channel. This is Burn It Down with Kim Brown. I appreciate you guys so much. Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Y'all know how we do. The surveillance state, it sucks. As the Trump administration does increasingly troubling work in the realm of surveillance gathering and internet scraping and giving contracts to Palantir and the like, although a lot of these things were already in place, this apparatus, this giant big brother dragnet of a surveillance state that the United States is, these things predate Donald Trump. We know that. It's just, seemingly accelerating under Trump. However, I saw this story coming out of Illinois, but it has like some multi-state ties in it because Texas factors into this story as well. So it goes a little something like this. State officials in the state of Illinois are reconsidering a contract they have with a company that does the data gathering for license plate readers that, in this case, the state of Illinois uses. But the state of Texas, in fact, was able to gain access to some of this license plate reader data in Illinois. And I know y'all like, Kim, the fuck does Texas need with license plates happening in the state of Illinois? That's like 2,000 miles away. I don't know about 2,000. It's a lot of miles. That's long distance. What the fuck Texas looking in Illinois for? Well, it turns out, as you guys know, abortions are basically illegal in Texas. And fucking Texas was trying to get information of license plate readers in Illinois to see whether or not there were women from Texas residents attempting to get abortion services in Illinois. I said, burn this whole fucking thing down. I said, burn this shit down. Burn it yesterday. Burn that shit in the morning. Burn. The surveillance state is tracking women going to other states trying to get abortion services in order to criminally prosecute them. Not just to know, not just to fucking be nosy. No. What's the sense of knowing that women are taking control over their reproductive health? What's the point of doing that if you're not going to charge them? These bitches can't be out here living all free and shit, thinking they can do whatever they want with their body. No, bitches. Consequences or repercussions. Follow the story, y'all. I'm not too crazy with the way that the news presented it. And to be fair, this was a Chicagoland area local media, local news outlet, whatever. So of course they're going to present it from the bias of the Chicago. But to me, the greater implications of this story is what I found troubling and what really bothered me. So Will, let's go ahead and run that from the beginning, sir. Thank you.
Flock Safety says it's tonight. Flock Safety says it's paused data sharing with federal agencies after a surveillance crackdown here in Illinois.
There are cameras perched atop police cars in traffic intersections meant to scan license plates and match to outstanding warrants. But Monday, Illinois Secretary of State said readers operated by the privately owned company Flock Safety was illegally sharing that information with the feds.
Company leadership was unaware of a pilot program with the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Protection Agency. This put them in direct violation of Illinois law.
That finding, Secretary Giannoulias said, became clear through an extensive audit he ordered in June after his office said police in Texas illegally accessed Illinois' automatic license plate reader data to try and track down a woman for an abortion care-related matter. Included in the search were cameras located in states where abortion is legal, including Illinois, specifically Mount Prospect in suburban Cook County, his office said. So Giannoulias asked the office to dig deeper into the data.
Going through this information has been cumbersome for us. What's really important is that Illinoisans know that any company that uses our Illinois automatic license plate readers is subject to the same standard, and we will not allow them to break Illinois law.
Speaking for the first time since the company found themselves in the immigration crosshairs, Flock's chief legal counsel said Illinois' audit discovered what was simply a communication error.
We had a limited pilot program with Customs and Border Control. And in order to share any information with those agencies have to attest affirmatively that they will not use the information for those purposes.
Oak Park voted to terminate its contract with Flock earlier this month. Tuesday, following the state's audit, the city of Evanston did the same. Now, Flock's attorney says the company is making changes and has stopped sharing data with federal agents through Illinois.
This was a company that was founded with two objectives. One, to make communities safer, and two, to do so in a way that respects civil liberties. So we hope to get those communities back. We believe we've achieved great results for them in terms of making them safer.
Illinois Secretary of State says license plate surveillance can play a vital role when used legally to help track down criminals, but when it's used inappropriately, the surveillance can be dangerously weaponized, as he put it. Giannoulias also tells the I-Team other companies similar to Flock Safety in Illinois are subject to the same audits, but he would not say if any other companies are under audit right now.
Okay, more to come. Liz, thanks.
Thank you.
So if the information garnered by license plate readers can be weaponized for dangerous reasons, weaponized by whom? Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE, the same agency that Illinois was, or the company rather, Flack, was sharing the LPR data from Illinois with ICE as part of a pilot program that the leaders of the company didn't know anything about. Okay, bullshit. The fuck they didn't. You know they did. Of course the company knew. Of course the leadership of the company knew. A pilot program. ICE just got flush with $100 gazillion billion. Okay? Every fucking data collection, so-called security surveillance company, private company in this country is going to be trying to get a bite of that new ICE budget, okay? Billions and billions and billions of dollars. Of course, the company leadership knew exactly what it was doing. But to me, this poses, not a new question, but rather, an ongoing one. So when I hear, for example, Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott, I almost pulled the clip, but I also almost threw my phone when I heard Brandon Scott say this. He doubled down on the same clip I played for y'all recently. Brandon Scott, in a separate interview, said that he welcomes federal agents, more federal agents. He welcomes federal assistance from the Trump administration to the streets of Baltimore. Mayor Brandon Scott says he welcomes DEA, ATF, FBI, welcome them to work alongside Baltimore Police Department. Says the mayor of Baltimore, black ass fucking mayor, Democrat. Does he understand what that means when you're welcoming federal partners, when you're welcoming in federal cooperation? Do these Democrats do they not understand that half of the country in states and in gender population has its bodily autonomy rights restricted, if not outright stolen? Okay, of course, states like Texas, states like Georgia, states like Louisiana, states like Florida are going to use this data, this license plate data. They're going to use FAA manifests, where flight information, who in their state, which women whose periods may or may not be able to be accounted for this month or last month, who's taking flights, whose vehicles are being picked up by these license plate readers. Who of these bitches think that they can leave our abortion restrictive state and go somewhere like Illinois, like Maryland, and get an abortion? This is nasty fucking work, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I guess good on Oak Park, Illinois, and Evanston for canceling these contracts. But my spidey sense went all the way up when I heard that. I said, Texas is subpoenaing the information collected in Illinois in order to track women who were seeking abortions in Illinois. The fuck is going on? And then when you involve ICE in all of this, right? ICE is allegedly, in this instance, providing this LPR data to Texas. Are federal agents going to help Texas execute warrants against people if people are found to be out of state getting these procedures or recovering from these procedures or on their way to these procedures? So when I hear Democrats like Brandon Scott, when I hear Democrats like Wes Moore and Mayor Bowser, DC Mayor Muriel Bowser talk about they welcome all this federal cooperation, this has broader implications for your little short-term brown nosing trying to appease Adolf in the fucking White House. You're trying to brown nose them to get them off your back temporarily, but what you're doing is continually opening up everybody else to more increased scrutiny. And somebody say that, hey, Muriel Bowser, Brandon Scott, Wes Moore, they can't stop this shit. Well, can they at least pretend? Can you give me Muriel, give me some Viola Davis, bitch. Act, okay? Pretend. Give a show. Everybody is bending the fucking knee in spite of all this so-called tough talk. Wes Moore, the president better keep Baltimore out of its mouth. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up as you welcome federal pardon. Well, we welcome federal. We want the president to come and walk around Baltimore. Why? Push him in the harbor. Shit. If you ain't pushing him in the harbor, then shut the fuck up. Sick of all this ass kicking. I'm sick of all this goddamn complacency, this complicity, this go along to get along bullshit. Brandon Scott, Wes Moore, Muriel Bowser are going to try to get to the right of the Republicans on so-called crime prevention. Watch what I tell you. If the Democrats reclaim the House in 2026, don't think that they're about to be a big check or resistance to Donald Trump. These motherfuckers might try to do a new goddamn crime bill, okay? And then they're going to brag and boast about how they reached across the aisle with their Republican colleagues to come up with a bipartisan way to address crime in a comprehensive, meaningful. It's going to be all the same bullshit we heard in 1994. Watch what the fuck I tell you. And God damn it, let me tell y'all something. I hate being right about bad shit. Not being right about bad shit way too much. This shit gets on my nerves. I'm like, God damn it, I'm right again about terrible things. Jesus. I'm telling you, nasty fucking work. Please lean on these Democrats and tell them that if this is the resistance, is this the resistance? Because, bitch, I don't welcome fascists to my city if I'm supposed to be opposing them. You welcome them with open arms? You want his help? You fucking coon ass niggas, all of yous. Bowser. Matter of fact, somebody do this for me because, do me the rendering of Bowser from Mario Kart. But with Mayor Bowser's Bob and shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Bowser from Mario Kart, but with Mario Bowser's Bob. I need y'all get on that. Don't get AI on that. I want to see my real graphic designers play with that. Have fun with that. Tag me on Instagram. Oh, Magnolia D. Does that sound like a fun endeavor? I'd laugh. I'd sniggle. Hold on. I got more cops ain't shit. Don't go nowhere. Oh, well, this is different cops ain't shit. Yes. Well, we're going to Gaza. Because our American police did a hell of a lot of learning. Well, actually, I don't know. It's symbiotic. I don't even know who learned from who. I suppose the Israelis, in fact, learned from the Americans the tricks of the trade of settler colonialism. And Israel said, but watch this though. we see what you did there, America, with and European colonizers killing off 90% of the indigenous people of the Americas in total. We see what you did there. So we trying to actually replicate that in Palestine because no one's stopping us is kind of the bottom line. And I wanted to bring up Gaza, y'all, because the carnage in Gaza has not stopped. And the reason I even want to talk about it is because the Gazans are asking us to. Palestinians are asking us not to forget them. They are imploring us. They are begging us not to forget them, because as if the genocide and the siege that is approaching the 2-year mark since October 7th, 2025, it somehow manages to get worse. And I don't even understand how that's possible. But I take the Palestinians at their word, because their genocide has been live streamed to us. If you have not seen any of the atrocities coming out of Palestine over the past 2 years, it's because you have chosen not to look. Okay? It's clear. It's right there. It's well documented. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and some of his cabinet cohorts, Ben Gvir, and they didn't charge Smotrich, did they? They will. they fucking will. That's a real demon. Netanyahu and some of his cronies have been charged with war crimes through the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice. The United States obviously is not a signatory to either of those institutions. So Netanyahu has been traveling freely to the U.S. since the war, since his war crimes have started. And hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are estimated to be under the rubble and people that have been slaughtered, in addition to millions of Palestinians, especially those in the Gaza Strip, are facing, I can't say they're facing a famine, they're in famine. They are starving, literally starving right in front of everybody, in front of the world. So instead of playing y'all the latest IOF war crimes, rather, of which there are many. They recently attacked the Nasser hospital in the south of the country in Khan Yunis, murdering more journalists, murdering more civilians, murdering more healthcare workers. And they said, oops, this was a mistake. I said, either y'all are the dumbest bunch of fucks, which I doubt, or y'all are just willy-nilly slaughtering innocent civilians and you know it and you don't give a fuck, because who gonna stop you? So there's several people whose accounts that I follow on TikTok. And this one gentleman, the way that folks open these videos, they say, hey, my name is Hazem. I'm in Gaza. I'm still alive. And that's extremely profound and heartbreaking and inspiring and awe-inducing at the same time, because it's like, wow, folks have survived undescribable circumstances. So we're going to play the first one. This is Hazem. I can't remember if Hazem is a journalist or not, but Hazem has been documenting his experience in the north of Gaza. But I think now he's in Gaza City, and he's describing what the Israelis are doing now, because their goal to mass displace Palestinians again, to round them up basically in an open air concentration camp, again, with the blessing and support of the United States, because everybody got a Nazi together, right? Like, what's the point of doing Nazi and genocide if you don't have friends to be Nazis with you? So the US and Israel are bound together in that way. So let's take a listen to the bruv, and he tell us exactly what's going on in Gaza City, where the Israeli operation to clear out Gaza City is already begun. Let's take a look.
Hi, it's Hazem from Gaza. I'm still alive. Hi, it's Hazem from Gaza. I'm still alive. The occupation starts now, and all of the people living in the eastern areas of Gaza City, they are going to heart of Gaza City and go to the south. The Israel army tell us to go to the south, and in the same time, they are targeted the people in the south. Before 2 days, family living here in Gaza go to the Al-Mawasi in Khan Yunis in the south. What's happening in the last night? They are kill him, and they all live in the tents. So we don't have any safe place here in Gaza City, and if they are tell us to go, wait us there. So I don't know. I need all of the people talk about this. I need all of the people post this. We all need your voices, guys. This is a horrible thing like this. This is a drone, and she's now shooting about the people. So that's it.
In case you missed it, there was a drone flying in the background. You could hear it buzzing behind them, and then you heard the sound of gunfire, because these drones shoot people. They are equipped to locate, target, and shoot civilians. And the concern from Palestinians is that once they are removed or displaced again from the north of the country, from the north of the Gaza Strip, and everybody forced to go down south to Khan Yunis, that they won't be allowed back ever. They won't ever be allowed back. And on top of that, many are concerned that once the Israelis are able to depopulate central and northern Gaza, and the so-called cleanup begins, they're just going to destroy evidence of their atrocities, evidence of their war crimes. The mass graves of healthcare workers, emergency responders, the doctors, the journalists, the children, the elderly, the disabled, the unknown number, but likely in the hundreds of thousands of Palestinians that remain under the rubble, never bodies never reclaimed, never recovered. Okay, Israel wants to cover up. They want to hide, lessen, conceal their crimes, and we can't let them, because they did the shit in front of all of our faces. We all saw it, right? That was Hazem's perspective. And guys, again, there's so many that it's all in my algorithm, and I get the videos all the time. Hey, stop, please don't skip. You're getting this video because you still care. You see us. These are the videos I get, and I can't skip, right? Because I'm trying to give the people the view time, the watch time, so they can monetize their content, so they can feed their family. The markets in Gaza, and again, I can't speak to what's the word I'm trying to find. I'm gonna come back to the word I'm trying to find, but there's a word for it. But basically, the usury, that's not the right word for it, but the fact that people are paying $50 for a kilogram of flour, that price gouging, there's another word for it. But anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Disaster capitalism, as it were, where the basics, the essentials, things that people literally need to survive are priced in such exorbitant ways that people are literally going to starve to death. I don't know why that is. I don't know what is the reason for that, but I know that's terrible. But the youths of Gaza who are feeling this starvation, this genocide, quite acutely. And I wanted us to hear from a young guy, Yusuf. And the reason I picked Yusuf, well, we got a Yusuf, big up Yusuf. Yusuf has great English, um, and very eloquently explains like what these past 2 years have been like for him as a young person who was supposed to be in high school right now. And he wanted to speak to that about how his life, he's just lost 2 years of his life as a teenager to a genocide, and not to mention all the trauma and horrific scenes that he's seen, witnessed, and those that he has lost, not only his family members, but his home, his way of life. But he'll explain it. Let's go ahead and listen from Palestinian teenager Yusuf about how he knows everyone else around the world is starting school right now.
It's Yusuf. Hey, it's Yusuf from Gaza. Isn't it crazy how most of you watching this are going to be starting school tomorrow? Today is Sunday, tomorrow is going to be Monday. You're going to be entering a new academic year. Like, I'm supposed to be entering my senior year of high school, like, tomorrow. If I wanted for the war. I haven't even finished grade 10 because of the war. It hurts that like life doesn't have a direction anymore. I don't have something to look forward to. You know, before the war I had like a full routine. I used to wake up, go to school, go to the gym, work, and now I don't do any of that. I'm just 16 and I have to go through all of this. I don't know, I feel like my life has no direction. I feel my life is at a pause. Out of everyone I know, I'm probably one of the most ambitious person ever. And being an ambitious person stuck in a prison where you basically can't do anything, like honestly that breaks me the most. I can't even do what I'm supposed to do. I can't even do what my heart wants me to do, which is progress in life. You know, alhamdulillah for everything. I don't know how long I'm gonna have to wait until all of this is over and I go back into my regular routine. And even when all of this is over, I'm not the same person. Coming into this and getting out of this, I'm probably not going to be the same person. I'm really scared for what the future holds, but alhamdulillah for everything. I can't complain, but this is the reality.
Those that have traveled to Palestine talk about the infinite, unending spirit of optimism and kindness that Palestinians have. And for that 16-year-old to have endured all that he has and experienced all that he has and witnessed all the carnage that he has, for him to say I can't complain is just I really don't have words for that kind of resilience, because I don't know if I could. You understand? I don't know if that could be my disposition. But you guys got to think about, number one, this genocide is not over. It's not over. Like, the Palestinians are not safe. The time to even contemplate a rebuilding, you can't even begin, because the bombs are still falling, right? The snipers are still shooting. They're aiming at children in the head, in the neck, in the genitals, right? Like, the savagery of the IOF forces still remains unbowed and very much unleashed upon the Palestinian people. And we cannot forget Gaza, okay? In part, right? I think Trump's revving up of the federal law enforcement apparatus, in part, is to distract from the Epstein files. But I also think it's in part to distract from this genocide and the extent of the genocide and the starvation portion. I mean, all of it is unforgivable, but the starvation portion, especially from a visual perspective, the eyes don't forget that. The mind cannot unsee that. If you've seen any of the scenes coming out of Palestine, but especially the people who are, swear to God, looking just like walking skeletons, like people who are literally on the brink. Your brain and your mind will never let that go. And the more we talk about National Guard in DC and going to Chicago, the less we talk about Gaza. And that's not what I want us to do. And I actually meant to put this on the dock. Well, I done fucked up, but that's okay. Let me. Maybe we'll talk about this Monday because not Monday or Tuesday on the whatever. I wanted to shout out the Microsoft workers out in Redmond, Washington. Shout out to Max Alvarez. Max Alvarez, one of the if not the only journalist out there covering that action of the Microsoft workers who set up an encampment at the Microsoft campus to protest Microsoft's Azure, Azure, their software or their AI intelligence that the IOF forces are using to identify Palestinians on the ground and target them for assassination. Some Microsoft workers and other tech workers have been staging these actions that the police came and broke up. But they set shit up again. and some of them got fired. I think some cats even got arrested. I meant to bring that up today, but that's okay. I wanted to acknowledge them and shout them out. Maybe we'll go into more detail about their action come Tuesday. But I wanted to big that up. Another story. I'm gonna let y'all go here in a minute. Thank you all so much for being here. It's Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Free Palestine all day. Death to the IOF. Death to the IOF. Bob. Shout out to Bob Villain. Shit. Y'all, how my dumbass really not know that was an actual tune, an actual track on the album. I got to it over the week. I said, wait a second. I said, I didn't know this was an actual bop. I thought my man's made up death to the IOF right there on the spot at Glastonbury. No, it's a whole jam. It's a whole jam and quite a jam. Please go find it on your streaming services because Bob Villain made a bop for the folks. Free Palestine. So far this year in 2025, here we are at the end of August, 5 Americans who are Palestinian have been killed by Israeli forces and or Israeli settlers. In July of 2025, a 20-year-old man by the name of Saif Moussalet was killed in the West Bank. He was beaten to death by settlers after his family's land came under attack from these colonizers who were trying to colonize his family's land, aka thief the land, steal the land, displace and or kill its Palestinian occupants. Saif, an American citizen from Florida, from the Tampa area, 20 years old, was beaten to death trying to defend his family's property. And as he lay dying, settlers blocked emergency response ambulances from reaching him, and he ended up passing away. So far, no one has been arrested. There's been no consequences, and the U.S. State Department seems not to give a fuck. So I want to send our condolences to Saif Moussalet and his family. But I wanted to also bring this story up about another American Palestinian young person, a teenager who also from Florida, I believe. He's been in Israeli custody for 6 months. 6 months. 6 months. He's American. Been in Israeli custody for 6 months. Well, why did the Israelis have him in custody, Kim? They allege he threw a rock or rocks. Not bust a gun, not let the chopper sing on the IOF. From my lips to God's ears one day. You know, was somebody okay. No, they claim he threw a rock. Now we know they lie, but even if he did throw a rock, what the fuck? 6 months in Israeli prison dungeons. I can't even call it jail. I want y'all to look at this story because this family of this Florida teen is trying to make direct pleas to the State Department and also trying to bring awareness that, hey, there's an American citizen being held and unreasonably detained for an unfair amount of time relative to what the accusations are. So let's go ahead and take a look at the package to get a little bit more details and context.
The family of a Palestinian American teenager from Florida is calling for his immediate release from an Israeli prison where he has been held now for 6 months. They spoke about the case during a news conference in Tampa this morning, and our Fox 13's Evan Axelbank is here live in studio with the very latest on this one. That's a long time, Evan.
Yeah, it is, Allie, and family has not spoken to him directly in all that time, but the U.S. Embassy is aware and has been conducting welfare checks on the teenager. Family held a news conference this morning in Tampa at the Council for American Islamic Relations. The Israeli government has accused Mohammed Zahir Ibrahim of rock throwing, but his family not only denies he did what he is accused of, but they say the punishment is over the top. He's being held at Israel's Megaduk prison. They said Mohammed was arrested in February when Israeli forces raided his family's home in the West Bank. Family says they've been told he has lost about a quarter of his body weight while in detention and has developed a skin rash. Today, they called on the State Department and the White House to demand that Israel release him.
Anybody who's a parent knows what it's like to have their kids near them, and I pray that nobody is going through what his mom and dad are going through. The conditions that he's in and the prison that he's in is notorious for torture and suffering.
Mohammed Ibrahim needs to be in America. He's an American citizen, and the American government does have an obligation to protect the American children everywhere where they are in the whole planet. Anywhere, including Israel, Gaza, Palestine.
A State Department spokesperson would not comment on this specific case, but told Fox 13 that it has no higher priority than the safety and security of U.S. citizens, and that anytime a citizen is arrested, it conducts prison visits to ensure their safety and security. Mohammed Ibrahim was born here in Florida, but has family in the West Bank. His cousin, 20-year-old Safala Musalet, was beaten to death by Israeli settlers while visiting relatives in the West Bank in July. Musalet, who also had dual citizenship, lived in Tampa, where he owned an ice cream shop. You certainly might remember that story. While we did tell you about the State Department's response, the American Embassy in Israel did not respond to our request for comment, Allie.
16 is just so young. You hope that family gets some answers soon. All right, Evan, thank you.
They were cousins. Saif Musalet, the man that was killed by Israeli settlers in July, is the cousin to this teenager, Mohammed Ibrahim, 16 years old, in Israeli detention for 6 months. Let me tell you something, guys. When I hear that story, when I hear that this kid born in America, allegedly with all the privileges and rights that come along with having that blue passport, right? That American citizenship is sounding pretty fucking worthless, right? And as worthless as his American citizenship is to him right now, Mohammed Ibrahim in Israeli custody for 6 months, no charges, as worthless as his American citizenship is to him right now, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. It's not funny at all. I'm laughing because I'm horrified, but I'm concerned that our American citizenship is going to be as worthless, as useless. I mean, and many would argue it is currently that now. I guess yes, in many ways yes, in many ways no. But yo, as the circle widens, right? As the parameters get broader about who can be abducted, snatched, detained indefinitely, held without charge, exactly what Israel does to Palestinians. Selamim shows EC. It will be the same thing right here. Can't say will be. That's future tense. It is the same thing right here, and it will be also. That's terrifying. I don't expect much out of the Trump administration in order to free this person, to free young Mohammed. although I hope that that would be the case. In the way that Chris Smalls was freed after he was detained and subsequently tortured by Israeli forces after the flotilla he was riding on to bring supplies to Palestine was commandeered by Israel illegally in international waters, and Chris Smalls was apprehended. By the way, go to Black Liberation Media and check out was it last Friday's Remix Morning Show where they had Chris Smalls, or was it? No, it was Remix Morning Show. They had Chris Smalls on. A great interview, by the way. It was really good, very, very informative, and Chris speaks explicitly about his experience. But I'm thinking about this young kid, this teenager, Mohammed Ibrahim, and thinking about the torturous conditions of which we have heard Palestinians be subjected to in Israeli custody for literally generations and decades, but even most recently since the genocide war broke out, right? A Palestinian man was literally sexually assaulted to death on camera. Okay. He was SA'd to death on camera. They are starved. They are routinely beaten. They are subjected to psychological torture. They are denied access to legal counsel. They are denied medical attention. They are denied access to adequate food and water. This young person is being tortured right now, and he's an American citizen. And has this made the national news? Have you guys seen this? I don't watch cable news, so I wouldn't fucking know, to be honest with you. But my guess is no. Unless it's a blonde tourist who disappears whilst on vacation. That's the only time the mainstream legacy news seems to care about Americans going missing abroad, right? Don't be brown or black. You might get a Facebook post. You ain't getting no actual story, right? Remember all of the folks, y'all. We can't forget Gaza at all, but even keep in mind that American Palestinians are being treated with the same level of degradation and disregard. And those parallels are just becoming so ever acutely clearer to me. Everything I see happening in Palestine, I'm like, oh, we're seeing the warm up over here for what will eventually. So our conditions will eventually probably match, which is terrible to think. When I look at how the West Bank settlers are becoming increasingly more hostile, more aggressive, I'm like, oh, wait till the MAGAs come in and start to try to displace Washingtonians literally out of their own houses like it is the West Bank. That doesn't sound like a far-fetched proposition to me, right? We live in crazy times. We better be ready to defend ourselves, our communities, and our people. Free Mohammed Ibrahim. So, y'all, this brings us to the end. Our conclusion of our program has come to an end. But I do have a palate cleanser. And it is such a cute one. It is going to probably warm your heart and break your heart at the same time. But I wanted to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you to everyone who tuned into Classical Breakdown with myself and my bruv, the Air Doctor. We featured the incomparable musical and lyrical genius of the Wu-Tang Clan. Please go back to Black Liberation Media and go rewatch it. Thanks to all that sent support. We love you. Shout out to Zenzi Bell. Zenzi Bell, I know I forgot to shout you out during the show. I will shout you out next Thursday because even the shit I miss, I do try to make up for it on the following week. But when Zenzi Bell ran us some support and she said, now the Air Doctor can shut up for at least a week. I said, how are the Air Doctor and Zenzi Bells each other's nemesis? What's going on here? Why? What is it? But anyway, I appreciate all that. Not only support this platform, but support Black Liberation Media, guys. Especially in these times, like it means a lot that you guys come here to get information, to get unvarnished, realistic takes. I'm not here to sugarcoat shit, okay? I don't have a brand to protect, okay? Because I'm not a fucking brand. I ain't worried about, getting canceled. Bitch, I'm Black disabled woman. Been canceled. What the fuck, y'all gonna cancel me more? can't cancel me more, bitch. Can't cancel me more. So, you know, I don't have no reason to lie. I don't have no agenda. I just want everybody to get free. And I want us to get free by any means necessary. I don't shy away from any tactic that is required to get the job done and to free us from oppression. So let me say all that. So anyway, if you want to support us, you can do so. BIDWKB, that's us on the Cash platforms, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, also on Patreon as well. You can hit us up there. Shout out to the trolls. I see some randos in here. Just like I know Lateef made y'all subscribe before y'all came in here popping shit. So thanks. Thanks for that. We certainly appreciate it. But in the interim, free Palestine, free DC, free LA, free the captives, free all political prisoners, set the captives free, free everybody. Let us get free, y'all, whatever it fucking takes. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much to Will and Molly. Friends, thank you so much for your super chat support. Did I forget anybody else, Will? Are we in the clear?
We just got one more shout out to Drums of Liberation. Let's get free. Totally agree. Shout out to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Drums of Liberation. Guys, do me a favor. For some rebel music, go listen to Bob Villain. Go listen to what was the name of the shit? Okay, Deaf to the NF. That is a bopper. And what else? What was the other Bob Villain joke? Oh, the BBC. Talk about the GDP. It means fuck all to me. Like, my mans be flowing, son. They got it. Bob Villain is the shit. So shout out to Bob Villain. Plus, they put Kelechi on the record. I said real, recognize real out here. Stone Alone. Huh? Oh, Humble as the Sun is a jam. Shine, black man, shine, black man, shine. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, Bob Villain, big up. So anyway, y'all, peace to all the wonderful mods and the earths. Thank you to Fire Fam, and we'll holler back at y'all. Hey, we are off Tuesday. No show on Tuesday, so we will see y'all back here next Friday. But tune into the Remix Morning Show on Black Liberation Media. We will be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Go and subscribe. BLM is this close to 50K subscribers. We appreciate those that are subscribed on both and all platforms. Love you guys to pieces. Thank you so much to Will and Molly. Holla at y'all next Friday, y'all. Peace. Love you guys. Deuces. Bye-bye.